One of the things that I think has immobilized many people around the nation is this false understanding of the phrase separation of church from state. The actual statement, separation of church and state, was written by Thomas Jefferson in a letter to someone else. It's actually nowhere in the United States Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, or the Bill of Rights, or in any of the laws of the United States of America. And that might be an eye-opening moment for you if you're listening right now, for many people to understand that separation from church and state is nowhere in any of the laws of the land. It actually was written to provide an understanding that the state or the government should keep out of the affairs of the church, not the other way around. In fact, when we look at history, what we actually see in history is that Christians and Christian leaders, pastors and Christian leaders, were heavily involved in the role of government. John Hancock, for example, calling for times of prayer and fasting and repentance. George Washington doing that as well. And not as the exception, but as the regular norm in the history of the United States of America. What we're seeing today is the tipping point, so to speak, where now we've turned a corner and the secularization of the United States of America is now being embraced as the new normal. The problem with that is that that was never the normal in the history of the United States of America. Pastors and Christians and Christian leaders have always played a significant role in the shaping of public policy and of legislation. Now, you might say you can't legislate morality. Let me say this. All legislation is an attempt to impose someone's morality on the masses. That's what legislation is by definition. It's simply a matter of whose morality is going to be imposed. That's the reality of what it is. Whether you like it or not, that is the truth about what legislation is. It's an attempt by some to impose somebody's morality upon the majority of people. That's what legislation is. So when we look at the history of the United States of America, the role of the pastor, the role of the Christian leader has been strategic and intertwined in the fabric of legislation and public policy from day one. What's happening today is completely unlike the history of the United States of America. So the understanding of separation of church from state is something that has been twisted today to mean something that historically it never meant. Actually, the history of the United States shows that there has never been a healthy separation of church from state when it comes to the way the United States was governed and the way legislation came about.